Good morning and Merry Christmas. This is Puppy Steps Training. My name is Brad Phillips and we're going to be doing Benji's demonstration for you. So we're going to break everything down that he knows into the simplest of terms and form. We do this demonstration for people that are first-time dog owners, to those that have had dogs all their life. So a lot of it may be a repeat, but we're going to go ahead and jump in. Our program's broken down into 5 areas. The first is socialization, second would be his manners, third is his obedience commands, fourth is his house training, and fifth is leash training. Now his house training and leash training took up the bulk of the time, and it's just a lot of repetitions making sure that he's going to be solid in those areas. But to start out, right out the gate, we work on socialization. So the first 2 weeks that we have them, they go to a home with children and they get experiences with different animals, different sounds, people, places, just trying to make sure that he's going to be a well-rounded dog. We're not going to have any problems with him being timid or anxious or having anxiety when we leave. And we continue that socialization throughout the entire time that we have him, just introducing him to new things. And so second would be his manners, which I'll show you right now. So we have a series of manners. The first would be his gates and doorways. So anytime he comes out of the crate or through the door, I expect him to hold a stay. Okay, and that's an expected behavior. You see, I didn't have to tell him. If you ever do have to remind him, you can either just try and kind of block him with the gate, or at the door you can do kind of a goalie block, which I'll show you how we go through the door when we get to our house training. Next on our manners would be his greeting. You can see how anytime he approaches me, he sits down. I want that an automatic behavior. We call it his greeting. So we won't give him any attention unless he's sitting and all 4 paws are on the ground. This is going to do a couple things for you. One is he's not going to be jumping on you, and he's not going to wrap you up with the leash. Second is you're going to have his eye contact. If you have a dog's eye contact, you have their complete and 100% attention. And leave the camera alone. What are you doing? So yeah. So anytime he approaches you, expect that. And just expect him to sit. You can see he's just going to his bed right now. But as long as he's sitting, I like that. Next would be his mealtime manners. Put a little food in this bowl. Now I expect him to do a sit-stay when we feed him. That way he's not going to knock the bowl out and he's not going to be jumping on you. So where he's already sitting, I'll just tell him to stay. And you can add a little bit of distraction in here. Okay. Now also with his mealtime, we spend a lot of time just putting our hands in his bowl while he's eating, around his mouth, and that's going to prohibit any type of food aggression. People will think, well, I have this well-trained dog, he's the kindest dog, wouldn't hurt a fly. And then they're surprised when a toddler crawls up and puts their hands in their bowl and they get nipped at or growled. Yeah. So we don't want any of that. We don't want any type of aggression, and so we train against that. Just making it a positive experience, and then we sit there and touch his paws and his ears and his tail, just these sensitive parts of their body, just so that they don't develop any type of aggression towards us. And that's the same thing with toys, treats, bones, anything like that. We don't want any aggression towards us. Now if they act out towards another dog when they're eating, or whether they have a bone, now that's natural. They're just defending what's theirs. And so we really don't punish against that. Now we don't want severe aggression. If they start to fight, we'll pull them apart at that point and separate them to avoid the situation. Now, other manners that we've worked on with with aggression is like towards children. A lot of people think that this dog's being aggressive towards their child, when in reality, they're not. They're just trying to play. Because children are like the perfect size. They run, they squeal. They just make it lots of fun, so the puppy likes to chase and play with them. Come here. Boy. And so what we recommend is when your children play with them, play with something long like a rope, something that they can grab onto. Because dogs are very oral, that way they can still play, but they're not going to be nipping at your children or grabbing their clothes. He loves tennis balls, so we'll give him something to roll around and play with. So let's see. Other things that we've worked on with his manners would be like jumping. You never want him to put his paws on us. Now he kind of has this weird little quirk, I guess, where when you kneel down and put his paws on your lap, or he likes to try and shake, he's not jumping on you, he's not trying to push you down, he just likes to put his paw up. Which that's fine, that's just kind of his personality. But as for jumping, I never want him to jump up on me. If he does ever jump up, we've instilled the command off. So tell him off and correct him. We'll do like a leash correction, we'll give him kind of 2 pops on the leash. Or if he jumps up on me, I'll step into him and bring up my knee. Now when a dog jumps, never step backwards. If you step back, you're encouraging him to jump and he's going to keep trying to come at you. Because what they're trying to do is get up to your face. A dog will show kind of a submission behavior, and that's licking the face. And so you'll see when they're next to a really dominant dog, they'll keep trying to lick the face. You're a crazy puppy. Lots of energy. So yeah, let's see. Chewing. So for the first year of their life, they're teething, and so they have the need to chew. So we train on a base of avoiding and replacing. So if you can avoid it, like not giving free access to the toys or to your shoes, that's just the best way to do it. Now, that's not always plausible in your home because you're always going to have a couch, you're always going to have tables, and so that's where replacing comes very handy. Look what he's chewing on. If he goes up to his bed or a pillow and starts trying to chew, replace it with something soft that kind of that same consistency of one of his toys. If he chews on a table leg, replace it with something hard that he can really dig into. And this is going to teach him what's yours and what's his. That way you're not going to have those problems with chewing. And a lot of chewing problems come when they get bored. So you can Alright, so we're going to hop right back into it with this commands. And also, we have one manner that I didn't cover that goes as a command as well. And that's simply drop it. And the reason it's a manner just because you don't want him to try and pull, it's just being polite just to let go. And it's a command because when we're playing fetch, or you just need him to drop something, and that's what it's there for. So I can show you that right here with this rawhide that he's chewing on. If I can get it from underneath his paw. Drop. Drop. Good boy. So you can see he just opened his mouth and released it. Now sometimes it takes him a second to think about it. But expect him to release that. And so we have 9 big commands that we focus on, and that's your drop it, come, sit, sit, stay, down, down, stay, crate, go to bed, and watch me. So I'm going to cover each one of those. But before I do, also you should know that we have a marker word and a release word, which is okay. It just marks the correct behavior, releases them from a stay. And then we also have our correction word, which is no or nope, whichever you feel most comfortable with. But we treat it as kind of a misdemeanor felony. If he just breaks a stay, you can go back, say no, let's do it again. and everything's alright, so it's not as serious. But if he jumps up on you or grabs something or tries to hop up on a child, you have to be a little bit more firm with it. And dogs read your body language and your voice fluctuation, and so if you're real firm with that, he can tell basically whether it's something very serious or something that he just did wrong. So now also with our commands, we have 3 main hand signals, which we're going to cover. The first would be sit. So anytime I want him to sit, it's just a scoop over the nose, like that. The second would be a down, which I'll just take my hand and go down to the floor. And the third would be stay. We just make a stop sign. So I'll cover each of those, starting with sit. So you can just approach him and sit. No. If he jumps up, pull that back. Don't let him get the tree if he leaves the ground, because he knows he's not supposed to. The second would be down. So we'll just take him to the floor. Good boy. Good boy. And the third, stay, we'll do for both a sit and a down. We'll get him over here. Sit. Stay. Okay, boy. Now if they ever do break, like he thought about it there for a minute, just take him right back to the same spot and do it again. And don't let him get away with the incorrect behavior. So I'll do it again and then I'll maybe just shorten it, just so he gets that right behavior. Now the next one would be his down stay. Now I failed to mention, anytime I do a down, I start with him in a sit. You're going to lay down that way. Turn around. There we go. Sit. Down. Stay. Okay. Now he has a great puppy stay, but don't be satisfied with that. Add what we call the 3 Ds, and that's distance, duration, and distraction. Just keep stretching that stay, because easily for a dog in the first year, if you're consistent at it, they can stay for 1 to 2 hours. And the way that you can do that is put them on their bed, put them in a down stay. Make sure he has that leash attached, and that bed acts as like a physical boundary that he can't cross. And start with 30 seconds, build it up to a minute, to 5 minutes, and just so on. And the best way to do that is just if you have a downtime. Nope. Sit. Down. Stay. Like you're watching TV or reading a book, you can put his bed next to you and put him in a down stay, and then just lengthen that out. Okay, good boy. Good boy. So other commands we have go to bed and crate. Now both of those, I put myself in a position that he can read my body language and then tell him to go there. So it's almost like a hand signal, because I'll point and I'll move close. But those he mainly knows the word. So you can really build these up to where you don't have to be standing by the bed or the crate. Go to bed. Go to bed. Good boy. So I don't care what position he's on or he's in, as long as all 4 paws are on the bed. Okay. Go to bed. Good boy. Now I also expect him to stay when put on his bed. Okay, good boy. And that's the same thing with the crate. I'll expect him to stay until released. Crate. Good boy. Okay, so yeah, just move close to it, point, tell him to go. And sometimes he'll try and read your mind and just go in. Right. But both of those are only expected if an expected state if you put them in there. Okay. Now while I'm on the topic of crate, we have worked on crate training him so that he's comfortable in the crate for about 8 hours at night without needing a break, and about 4 hours during the day without needing a break. However, these first couple nights, the transition period can stress them out, and so he might get a loose stool and he might whine in the middle of the night, so you'll have to take him out to go to the bathroom. The other thing with the crate is when it's in your house, I would leave it open, especially when you have company or the first couple days, just so when they get kind of overly stressed or just feeling overwhelmed, they can go in their crate. And we treat it as their space. We ask them to respect our space, so we'll respect theirs. And we make a rule that if he goes into the crate by himself, that he's off limits until he comes out. Good, good boy. So yeah, the next two commands are our elementary commands. And that's watch me and come. Watch me is very simple. All it is to get his eye contact. So if we can divert him a little bit. Watch me. Okay. And I'll just reward as soon as he looks at me. Look down. Maybe he'll look away. Yeah. And we'll surprise him with it in a second. And that's kind of a very simple command, but it can be a life-saving command. Now, if you practice that every day just for no reason, just to treat him, then if he's running out into traffic, you just need his attention, and for him to turn around, you can hit him with watch me. Or if you're in the kitchen and you drop a steak and you don't want him to get it, you can tell him watch me. And just expect him to look up. Watch me. Okay, good boy. Our second elementary command is come, which most people know and is very simple. We'll get him away from me. Come. Good boy. And he's very good at that. And that's another one, just practice all the time. Take him outside, different situations. Throw something, we'll take cheese balls and roll them so that they have to go and chase them, and then we'll tell them to come. Because that can be a very critical command. But it's also the first one that everybody kills. And that is because, well, when do you call your dog to come? When he's running off or doing something that he wants to, but you don't want him to. So you call him to come. And they quickly build up a negative association with the word. And instead of coming, they'll turn the opposite way and run. So the way that we preserve the integrity of that command is we have a rule of 10 to 1. And that's just calling our dog to come 10 times for no reason other than just to treat him and let him go again. To every one time you have to call him to come. The other thing is if you don't have to use the command, don't. Just go and hook a leash on him and go. So that's our commands. He's very good at them. We really enjoy working with him. He's very smart. And now we'll cover his house training. Now this is the one part of the training that requires the most effort on your part, just transferring this over. He knows where the bell is here, and he knows where he's supposed to go to the bathroom here. And both of these he's going to have to relearn at your house. So the best way to do this is as soon as you get him home from here, take him where you want him to go to the bathroom, because most likely he'll have to go. It's been like a long car ride. And let him go. As soon as he does, mark it. Make it really positive. Say good outside, give him lots of loves or treats, whatever you have. Just make it very positive. Next is you'll go inside your house and you're going to have to show him where you're going to hang your bell, which we've included in his packet. So you're going to go whichever door you take him out. Make sure it's the same door every time. And we'll take the bell. We'll put it in some peanut butter or bacon grease, just something that smells really good, and we'll hang it on the door and step back. and most likely he'll be right there next to you, so he'll immediately smell it, and he's going to ring the bell. Now he's not ringing it because he has to go outside, it's because he smells something on it. But immediately as he touches the bell, mark it. Say, you want to go outside? Let's go outside. Give him a treat and go back out to the spot that you've designated for him to eliminate. And then pace around for 30 seconds to a minute. Make sure he doesn't try and go and play, or you don't give him any attention. And most likely he probably won't go to the bathroom. So you'll take him back inside. Immediately he's going to turn around and hit the bell. And you're going to take him right back out. Do the same thing. Pace around for about a minute. Just keep moving, and I'll say outside or good outside just to try and trigger that. And then you'll bring him right back in. I do this about 10 times, and hopefully in this 10 times he's gone to the bathroom and you can mark it again. And as soon as he goes, just get outside, good boy, and give him lots of loves and treats. After about a repetition of 10 times, I will clean the bell off completely, and I'll hang it back up. And he's generally going to turn around and hit the bell again, just because he's looking for whatever it was that you had on the bell. And you're going to mark it. Let's go outside. You'll take him out, pace around for a minute or two, and come back in. And he'll probably ring the bell about 4 or 5 more times right there. Now, like I said, hopefully in this now 15 times, he'll have gone to the bathroom at least once that you can mark that. Then he'll lose interest in the bell. And at that point, I'll set a timer for 30 minutes. And I'll take him out in 30-minute intervals where I'll go out and I'll just hang the bell in front of him and let him ring it. Don't ever bonk him with the bell, otherwise he just won't want to ring it at that point. So, yeah, I use the word bonk. I don't know why, but at that point, you can set the timer for about 30 minutes. Do that for a couple hours and then build it back up. Right now he's good inside for 2 hours without needing a break. The other thing with the house training is when he gets home, until you're completely comfortable, always have a leash attached. That way you can give quick corrections if needed, as well as if he tries to squat, you can grab him. The other thing is for that first month or until you're completely comfortable with him, if he's in the house and not in the crate, he's under 100% supervision. Don't let him go sneak off into another room, because that's going to be the point where he's going to find something either to chew on or to squat. Yeah, now we're going to show you the bell, how we do it. Now you might not have to go to the bathroom, but I'll show you, like after that 30 minutes is up on your timer, I'll take him over to the bell, and I might tap it or I'll hang it up. Okay, outside, and he knows what to do. He'll come up and bump it, and let's go outside and show you. This also goes back to our manners, is I expect him to stay at the door until I let him out. Okay. Now I'll come out to his spot and I'll kind of walk around until I'm outside. Like I said, he might not have to go right now. But if not, then you can take him inside. And if you guys have any questions about this, give me a call. This is one of those ones that I like to have you in person so we can really go over it. So let me know if you need any help with it. Alright, now we're going to cover the leash training portion. Now we take them on 2 types of walks. We have our attention walk, which I'll show you in a second, is our business walk. It's getting from point A to point B, where you just need his focus on you and not to be distracted. We also do an off-leash or a long leash walk, and that's just for them to be a dog. Let them go out and smell and run and enjoy life. Now, with the leash walking, we have two commands involved there. One is easy, so anytime he tries to pull against the leash, is I'll say easy, and I say become a tree. So stand kind of firm and don't let him pull you. In fact, I'll give him a leash correction when I say easy and expect him to turn around and put the slack back on the leash. Now you'll feel when he reaches the end of his leash and he's just kind of noticing that he's at the end versus when he pulls. There's a big difference. The other command is let's go, and just signifying we're going to go now. And so we're going to walk out onto the road and I'll show you his attention walk. And so when I do this, pay attention to his eye contact and where he's at in position to me. Okay. So this is one that you kind of have to have a lot of treats on, and you just have to reward him every time he looks at me. Hey, let's go. So you can see how he just turns every couple of steps and looks at me. That's exactly what I want. The other thing you can see, at one point he started to run towards the camera and I stopped and said easy. And you saw how he turned and looked at me. And that's perfect because he's stopping and putting the slack back in the leash. And that's exactly what we want. Now before we finish, there's one other thing that I failed to mention that's included in our manners portion, and that's having a hard mouth. Now he's very gentle, but and you can see he takes the treats with his lips and tongue, and that's exactly what I want. But if he ever gets antsy and he tries to jump up at the treat or try and take it out, pull it back and say gently. We've taught him that word to help him realize and be aware of his teeth. But once again, if you have any questions, please call me. We've really enjoyed Benji.